So in this video, we're going to go through some of the functions, but in Google Sheets. So we did it in Excel, and I find Google Sheets is just a little bit different, but I think all the functions are still there. Okay, so again, we have our data. So, and this data is again based on serves of volleyball over a net, how many tries it takes to get the ball over the net. I've ordered the data already. So let's check how to order the data there. I've highlighted the data that we'd like to order. So if I recall, we go to the top of the menu, let's go to data, and then we can sort. So we can sort a range, and I think that's the best way to do it. And then sort, okay. Okay, that doesn't do much because it's already sorted. Let's try again. Sort, range. Now let's switch. So initially they're green dots A to Z. Let's check the green dots with Z to A. Let's see what that does. It reverses it. So it orders it from greatest to least. So that works. Now let's again keep that highlighted, highlight the data we want to sort. Let's go back to data, sort range, and let's go back to A to Z. Good, so everything's ordered. All right, so now let's try and figure out if there's a mean function in here. So we're going to highlight the cell that we want the mean in. We go to the menu at the top, we go to insert, and then we go to function. All right, so median, sorry, we're looking for median. All right, so any function or most functions that we're going to look for, or where we want to find them, are for statistics. So we're going to go all the way down to statistical, and if Google Sheets has it, it will be here, and I'm sure it does. So let's scroll down. They're all alphabetical, which is great. Let's look for median. Oh, look, we have a median. We hover over it. It gives us a definition. Median value in a numeric data set. Let's click it. Okay, so now we need to insert our data set, and it's exactly like Excel. Perfect. All right, let's do mean. Let's see if we can find a function for the mean. Go up to the menu, go to insert, function. All right, then we're going to go to statistical. Let's see if they have mean. They don't have mean, but I wonder if they have average. Yes, they do. Numerical average value in a data set. Ignoring what? Oh, okay. Okay, so the function is average. We need to type in our data set, insert our data set, and there you go. Perfect. Population size. So we used a count function in Excel. Let's see if we have a similar function here. So again, insert, click on insert function. Oh, look at that. Right at the top, we have a count function. All right, so we're going to put the cells, the data that we want to count, A2 to A26. Sure enough, we have 25. Excellent. Sum of squares of deviations. Okay, so first thing we need to do is figure out how to calculate population deviation. So remember how to do that? So our mean is in cell B29. Let's remember that. Okay, let's go up to cell B2, and we want to put population deviation in there. So we're going to put equals A2 minus B29. Let's see what we get. Okay, that looks good. Now let's copy it. Let's see if it's the same as Excel. Looks like we had the same issue as we did in Excel. So if we go to cell B3, our formula for population deviation has changed to A3 minus B30, which is not correct. So let's go back up to cell B2 and look at that formula. Let's try the $ trick. Okay. Let's give it a try. Copy. Oh, it looks like that might work. All right, so we're going to copy cell B2 where we put $ in front of the B and the 29. We're going to paste that formula into all our other cells. You know what? I think it did the trick. So let's look at cell B26, and sure enough, the deviation for data value in cell A26 is equal to A26 minus B29. And remember, B29 is our population mean. Excellent. All right, now square, and I spelled square wrong. Let's fix that. It's embarrassing. All right. Square of population deviations. So now I wonder if there's a square function. Why don't we check that? Go up to the top, insert. Whoops, insert function. Now, it may not be a statistical function. Wonder what kind of math, maybe. Let's try that. Square, let's try S. Yeah, square root. Maybe not. Power, what do you think? Number raised to a power. Okay, let's try that. So our number is B2. And we're going to raise it to the power 2. Let's see if that does anything for us. Not sure. I think that's right. Well, let's do a quick check. So in cell D2, we're going to do, I'm going to quickly do B2 times B2. Oops, that's not times B2. What do we get? Yes. So it did work. So the power function is what we're using. So if we go to cell C2, we have this power function. So it takes a particular cell value and raises it to a power. So in this case, since we want to square the population deviations, we're going to raise all the values in all the population deviations to the power 2, or all the cell values in column B from B2 to B26. We're going to raise those all to the power 2. So let's copy the cell C2 and paste it in all the remaining cells in that column and see if that makes sense. Does that make sense? Let's have a look. I think it does. Look at that. Well, that was good. That was easy, wasn't it? All right. So we're done. We have the square of the population deviations. Now let's find the sum of squares of the deviations. So again, go to File, Insert, Function. We have a sum function. Let's plug in the data that we want to sum. So C2 to C26. Done. Excellent. Now, population variance. The population variance equals sum of the squares of the deviations divided by the population size. All right. So let's do that. So equals sum of the squares of the deviations, that values in cell C31. Then we're going to divide by the population size, and that is in cell B30. So let's put that in B30. Hit return. Excellent. That's our population variance, or sum of the squares of the deviations divided by the population size. That's a lot of words. All right. Finally, population standard deviation. How do we find that? We need to take the square root of our variation, our population variation. Sorry, our population variance. So let's go up to the menu, File, Insert, Function, Population Standard Deviation. That's going to be a statistical function. All right, let's go down to standard deviation. I'm betting it's this one. Standard deviation of an entire population. So stdev.p is our population standard deviation. Let's click it. Okay, now what value do we need to put? No, my mistake. That's not what we're looking for just yet. We're going to get to that one. I'm looking for the square root function. So insert function. So a square root function is probably going to be under math, and it's right here, SQRT, positive square root of a positive number. Let's click on that. So what number do we have to take the square root of? The population variance, or the value in cell C32. Excellent. Now I'm going to go to the cell right beside it, D33. Let's highlight it. What's a nice color? That's a nice color, orange. Okay. So now we're going to see if we can find a function for the population standard deviation, which we already saw. All right, so let's go to Insert from the menu, Function. We're going to go to Statistical. Let's see. Oh, not to scroll. Whoops. It's very sensitive. All right, STDEV, standard deviation, but we want the population one, standard deviation of an entire population. So the function in Google Sheets is stdev.p. Let's click on that. Where is our sample data? Our population data. It's in cells A2 all the way up to cell A26. There. And we have exactly what we calculated for our population standard deviation. Excellent. All right, so that's giving you an overview of the functions in Google Sheets, which are pretty much the same as in Excel, but where to locate them. So they're located under insert function, and then how to find them, either statistical or math are the functions that we'd be looking at this stage. I hope that helped, and we'll talk soon.